So in less than a month, we are getting 3 new Bond reprints from Ian Fleming Publications, and I thought let's have a very quick chat about those because I'm kind of excited. Stay tuned. Hi guys, it's me, and I'm sitting out on this beautiful September morning, and I wanted to make a quick video about the fact that Ian Fleming Publications have given us the exciting news that they are republishing 3 of the James Bond continuation novels. And this really is kind of cool and exciting. I hadn't been expecting it. You know, they reprinted the original James Bond novels, and then we had On His Majesty's Secret Service get released. We are looking forward to Kim Sherwood's new book, but I didn't know what else was gonna happen. I didn't know whether they had the rights to the continuation novels, whether that's something they were going to go down the route of, and yeah, it turns out they are. So they are reprinting 3 of the continuation novels. The first and original continuation novel, which is Colonel's Son, written by Kingsley Amis. However, he wrote it... Sorry, it's an aeroplane going ahead. Oh, he went overhead earlier. It was a blue and yellow aeroplane. He's doing little wiggly wing things. Wonder if we'll see him again. Anyway, yes, Colonel's Son, which was the first James Bond continuation novel. They were going to write them all under the pen name Robert Markham. But they actually got Kingsley Amis to write this one. And Kingsley Amis looked through The Man with the Golden Gun, so it was a really good choice to write that particular book. It was about a decade, I think, before they tried again, and they got John Pearson, who I believe wrote a really good biography of Ian Fleming, to write James Bond, the authorised biography of 007, which wasn't really a continuation novel. It was a novel in which the fictional James Bond was a real person, and Ian Fleming was assigned to write novels based on real events to make the Russians think they were just fictional. There's a conceit to it, but it's a really, really fun, entertaining book. Look, I have a pretty cool vintage copy of it here. I enjoyed that one very much. And then, of course, there is the first of the Raymond Benson James Bond books, which is 0-10, which I chatted to my good friend Thomas Crichton from Fleming Never Dies about that. It's a great book. Really, really strong introduction to the literary James Bond. Raymond Benson, wonderful chap. Oh, I interviewed him as well. God, I've got so many links down there you can click on if any of this sounds interesting. But Raymond Benson did a wonderful job taking the reins from John Gardner, and he brought Bond into literary respectability, I would say. He wrote a series of books. They were all strong, well-written books. They got better as they went on. And that in keeping with the fact that Pierce Brosnan had revitalized what James Bond was for cinema screens. It worked really well, and I think we wouldn't have Anthony Horowitz's trilogy or anything like that if it wasn't for the groundwork that Raymond Benson put in, and it all started with 0-10. So yeah, those 3 books, which are really the first 3 continuation novels. You've got the John Gardner ones. Now, I wondered if they skipped doing the John Gardner ones just because they thought they're a bit of a slog to get through. I'm not going to lie. There are some delightful parts of them, and there are some bits that really get you scratching your head, and there are some ridiculous bits. But I don't know. Calvin Dyson is doing a video series in which he reads each of them, and he's doing God's work. And I would honestly recommend, as a person who loves books and loves James Bond, I would recommend going and watching Calvin Dyson's videos rather than reading the books themselves. Like Raymond Benson's books, that's where it gets good, and I recommend reading all of those. But John Gardner's books, yeah, they're kind of hit and miss. So I thought that might be the reason why Ian Fleming Publications wasn't reprinting them. But I also heard, I can't remember who told me, I think it was Chris, the bearded Blofeld from the Bond Report. But I could be wrong on that, and if I am, whoever told me, I'm sorry. I heard that Ian Fleming Publications didn't actually have the reprint rights to the John Gardner books. Don't know if that's true or not. If that's true, I mean, that makes sense why they're not coming out with them. But part of me is almost hoping that it was a deliberate decision by the estate of Ian Fleming to hold off on republishing the John Gardner books until maybe a little later down the line. I think they should be republished, absolutely. But I think giving Raymond Benson preferential treatment in the reprint run is a good idea, and I respect that. Anyway, yeah, what did I think of the covers that was an interesting thing, because I did a video before about the covers to the original James Bond books when they got reprinted, and I liked some of those covers. I didn't like all of them. I like all three of the covers for these reprints. I worry a bit about the fact that they are all the same color, but then again, maybe I don't. This is a thing. Maybe all of the continuation novels are going to have that same like off-white background. Interesting. I like the cover art. I think the cover art is kind of clever. In Colonel Sun, it's the sort of stylized shooting target, and you've got the little prongs coming out, which makes me remember that particular scene in Colonel Sun as a torture scene. I mean, Ian Fleming was great at writing sadistic torture scenes, but this one in particular in Colonel Sun was really makes you cringe, your skin crawl. So I liked it. I thought it was solid. The cover to the authorized biography is completely different. So it looks very like out of place, but it actually follows the style of Raymond Benson's first James Bond book, which is the James Bond Bedside Companion, where they had all of James Bond's accoutrements, his EDC, as Commander Bond might say, his everyday carry. So you got the PPK and his wallet, his passport, whatever. And I kind of like that in the authorized biography. I used to love covers like that. I remember my parents had all like the Len Dayton spy novels, and during the 70s they went through a bit where every single cover was just objects like a revolver and stuff. I think they had some James Bond covers like that, and I used to be fascinated by those as a kid. So I kind of like this. I think it was a good choice. I know not everybody likes it. I've got another plane shooting over the place. I have no idea if the sound on this video is even going to be fit for publication, but we'll see. Anyway, yes, the covers with all those cool objects. I like that. It stokes my little nostalgic heart, so I'm a fan of that. The cover to 0-10. Ooh, I really like that cover. I think it's somebody put thought and effort into it, and it looks kind of cool. I think it's the best cover out of the three, and definitely I did a video about the American reprints of the James Bond novels with their bloody awful photoshopped covers. Not even Photoshop, sorry, like PowerPoint covers. Yeah, if as much effort had been put into those covers as been put into 0-10, it would have been a different story. So yeah, I think the cover looks really cool. So I'm kind of excited and stoked about all three of these books. As far as I'm aware, they haven't been censored. I don't think there was anything that necessarily needed censoring in any of them. That's still a real sore point for me, and I think Ian Fleming publications have probably got the message from the Bond community that we're not down for censorship. Yeah, I'm excited about these books. I think it's a really cool thing that Ian Fleming Publications is doing. I will be buying all three. I know lots of other people who will be buying all three. I might even try and get my my copy of 0-10 signed by Raymond Benson if I ever have the chance to meet him face to face. And yeah, isn't it cool? It's a cool time to be a Bond fan, a literary Bond fan. It really is a cool time to be a literary Bond fan. So I'm really stoked by these. Ian Fleming Publications are really doing some good work. They made that misstep with the censorship, but apart from that, they're like really knocking it out of the park with these products and what they're putting together and giving out to Bond fans. And I'm really excited to see it. I hope they are massively successful, because they are champions of independent publishing now. They're like, you know, the burden of that responsibility is on their shoulders, but so far they are carrying it very well, apart from that mistake with the censorship. Do something about that. Anyway, that's about all I've got to say on the subject, but yeah, let me know what you think about the covers and whether you're excited about the continuation novels being republished. Are you going to get them? Just let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to read your thoughts. And until then, I'll be back with another video very soon. Ciao.
I'm Roland Hume. I've sold 67,000 copies of my books. If you want to find out how I did it, I've got a link right here you can click. And otherwise, don't forget to subscribe. I've got more videos coming soon. Thank you.